Once upon a time, two retired teachers decided to convert their garage into a pottery studio. Along with their daughter and son, they built a business around the idea that the world could use a little more art and a lot more artists. We're the Kaya family. Welcome to Wocky Pots. Hi everybody, how you doing? How you been? How are things? Shane and Diana for coffee time number 18 here at Wocky Pots. Happy Easter and also happy Transgender Day of Visibility to all of our transgender friends, family, students, loved ones, and everybody else in the whole world. I just want you to know we see you.
Yes. And you're always welcome here.
Yep. So what are we talking about this week?
Oh my. Well, I don't know what happened, but it seemed like last week went by in a blur.
Blink of an eye.
And I was like, what did we do? and then I started writing things down. And I'm like, oh, we did a lot more than
we did quite a few things. So
yes.
let's
we
talk
did
about
go
it.
through and we made 20 pieces of pottery, which brought us to 80 pieces out of our 100 goal for the month.
Not too bad. Not too bad.
So that was really good. A good way to end the month. So I was pleased with that.
Yep.
And we had our very first test run in the kiln, the Raku kiln.
That's right. And I will show you guys pictures. Our Raku kiln functioned well, but my technique needs some more refinement. So we're going to be working on it. But Rocket, the Raku kiln, appears to be a go. I think we're going to be fine.
He's functional. He just needs some tweaking.
Yep.
So.
And our technique needs some tweaking. Just little things.
Yeah. Do you want to show the pots that came out?
Yeah. So I'll definitely show some close-ups of it. We only did 3 pieces. I will tell you about the one piece that is iffy right now. We put a glaze on this piece, and we had some real issues with it. And I'll turn it around slowly so you can see it. I will definitely show you another picture of this as well, closer up. But I'm going to try to modify that a little bit and see if there's anything I can do to kind of save it. Now, we were not counting on everything making it during our test run, so we're not going to be distraught, upset, or
even the fact that they're still in full pieces, I think, is a major accomplishment.
Nothing went.
No, I was waiting for that.
Yeah,
it really was.
Nothing exploded.
And we didn't blow ourselves up either.
And we didn't blow ourselves up, and you don't know how close it actually was. So what happened was not all the propane was burning out, and it was building up inside the kiln, and that's actually very dangerous thing. But we did not get exploded, and what we'll do is we'll just make sure we don't let that happen again.
And it was a good learning experience, and everything.
We have all of our fingers and toes. We're good,
and we have 3 pieces,
right?
So
and we can talk about these individually. This is the only one that we're like, that's not very good.
No, and that's because it did not ever reach the temperature it needed for the glaze, correct?
Correct. We didn't. The glaze requires 1,850 degrees Fahrenheit and then a hold at that temperature for 5 minutes. And we could not. We got very close. 1,800 was as close as we could get.
We hit 1,825 at
maybe
max.
And that should be close enough. I really think there's another issue. I think there was something else going on. And we'll explore it and we'll talk about it.
But now, what was it? The horsehair Raku only has to get to 15?
Right. The horsehair Raku only needs to get to, I think it's 1,400 or 1,500. And then there's this huge range of temperatures. Yes. And both pieces performed very well. I will say this one piece that I thought we were going to have problems with, this is the one that when I made it, I knew the bottom was too thick. Like I was thinking, so holy cow, that bottom is very thick. And turns out, yes, it was too thick, and we do have a small crack. This is not a piece that we would probably sell, at least not for full price.
But it doesn't go all the way through the pot either. It's like a surface crack just in the bottom.
You can't see the crack at all from the inside, and it's very small on the bottom. But I felt it when it came out of the kiln. I literally had it in these metal tongs, picked it up, and about 8 or 10 inches away from putting it down on the brick, I could hear this kink, and it was the crack from that. Now, the other piece that we did, I'm going to call it an unqualified success.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with this piece at all. It was
if you could call something perfect, we could call this one perfect.
For a test, only a test, it went really, really well. Now, important to note that we used leftover horsehair. This isn't one of our Shindig Raku pieces. Mm-hmm. So this will probably not end up over at the Osprey Nest as part of the Misty of Shindig heritage line. But it was a very, very successful piece. And I love the contrast. And I will definitely show you guys closer up pictures of these. But this one had uniform thickness to the sides and the bottom, no cracks or issues. And I kind of love the way that it turned out. I'm very happy with how that turned out.
I do. I enjoyed the whole process because that's the first time that I had the opportunity to experience a Raku firing.
My daughter Carolyn sometimes says that when I talk about her doing cold working with her glass, she says, "Well, after your piece is made, everything you do is cold working in the pottery studio," and she's right. Except for when we're working with Raku stuff and doing the horsehair Raku, these pieces were glowing. They were glowing. 1600, maybe 1700 degrees Fahrenheit when they came out of the kiln. So they were very, very hot. We had to use the big tongs that are on the wall behind me,
but they cool so fast. It was like you could see in there. They were glowing, and by the time you had just lifted them up, that bit of orange. Yeah.
And now that we know our process, in the next 1 or 2 times we'll do it, we will definitely do a video of the whole process. We didn't do a video for this very first time because we weren't sure enough.
We might blow ourselves up.
We didn't really want evidence of that for insurance purposes. So no, I'm kidding. But the biggest reason we didn't do a video for the very first time is that we wanted to be sure we were laser focused on the process. So I do have some photographs, and I will share those photographs.
Maybe we can get Christopher next time too.
Yep.
Although this time he was there with the garden hose.
Right. He was our fire suppression unit.
Yes, we had garden hose and we had fire extinguisher.
We were all set.
Ready.
We did not have the first aid kit out, but
no, that's shocking.
I think in the event of a big explosion, I don't know if a Band-Aid is going to help. Anyway, okay. Point is, our Raku firing went well. We learned a lot, and we will learn more for the next couple firings, and then it'll be production. We'll be in production.
And we had another test going on last week because I had mixed up our dipping glazes from Closeups Pottery, and this past week was our first week of actually dipping into those to try them on our Sheltoe clay.
Right, we had never put these on the Sheltoe before.
So, and I'm very pleased with that. So we've got our lake blue with spearmint on top, and I got to be a scientist or chemist or whatever you want to call it.
She had to find the specific gravity of the glazes in order to make sure they were
had a little hydrometer and measuring.
Very sciencey.
That was really cool.
Very sciencey.
I enjoyed it, but I felt like I needed a lab coat.
Hey, I wonder if I still have that lab coat. I had a blue lab coat. We need to find it.
And then this one turned out, I think this one of all of them, I don't know.
Maybe. I love it. I love
it. But look at that lake blue. And then on the outside is cream, a little bit of lake blue on the handle.
And it shows up on our brown very well. And that was the test.
Yes. And then here is spearmint with the cream. And of course, this is on one of the herb stripper bowls. And again, really nice turnout of the glaze. Only sad part, and I don't know if you can see or not, but there's a hole, there's a hole, there's a hole, and there's a plugged hole. But
there's nothing worse than a stripper with a plugged hole. For sure. But I don't know that we can fix that. Yeah. We'll probably just leave it sealed like that.
Yeah, probably so. And besides, that one I think would have been so small, I don't know if you would have even gotten a stem of herb through there or not. But three...
It'll work. It's still going to be perfectly functional, and it's pretty.
So there was the testing of the new glazes. And then...
Another test. Holy cow.
You all remember last week I showed you all the worrystone. I did show them last week, didn't I? Worrystones. Well, I was a little impatient. And, we've talked about this before because we've said that, normally we go through the whole entire process. We bisque, then we glaze, then we glaze fire. Well, I decided to go for a one-shot deal. And so we just added a little tiny bit of glaze right into the little spot for where your thumb goes. These are so nice.
So the Mako Stroke and Coat glaze is what we used, and we put glaze right on the thumb.
And it can go right on the greenware.
And it went right on the greenware. The worry stones were not bisque flared first. We put the glaze right on the leather hard clay. Okay, so enough relaxing. We've got stuff to talk about. Put them back with your worries.
But I love these, and I especially love this one with that purple.
And when we wet sand the back and make the back just a little smoother, I think they're going to be fantastic. Yes. People, I think, will love them. And then we also made some more pottery. I was in bottle mode last week, so I made a bunch of bottles and
they turned out great.
I put handles on them, and a couple more little cups. I ordered some corks from Amazon, so these will have corks in them. I will show a picture of it. I already took a picture of it. Okay. I have one cork in a bottle that I had already done, and then these guys hopefully will have corks as well, even the smaller ones. And what I'm kind of envisioning is this would be a great little bottle to hold like hot sauce or Tabasco sauce or something like that. So that's what it's when it's all glazed. That's what it's for.
And if you think about it, if you were going to that SCA event, you wouldn't be taking a bottle of Tabasco sauce with you. But if you still wanted to flavor your food,
you could take it.
You could take it in a nice powdery piece, and no one would be the wiser.
Yep. And I've got a handle on this smallish bottle that I think is going to be great. And this little bottle doesn't have any handle at all. I did some carving, and you know how I love carving. Carving is like my favorite thing. So I did some carving and some texture on a couple of them. And it was a good week. We got a lot accomplished. I had a little mini road trip with our intern on Saturday. Christopher and I drove to Norristown, Pennsylvania. Traffic was not so bonkers crazy, but
that hadn't been the plan. But I called them because we were positive they were going to be closed.
They were not
But they weren't. They said they would be there.
Yep. And shout out to the ceramic shop because they did a great job. They helped me find some glazes that Diane was looking for. And we even picked up some kiln paper so we can try to do some bottle slumping in our kiln. Every single week here at Wocky Pots is always something new. We're always trying and stretching and trying to figure stuff out. And sometimes the things we try work and sometimes they don't, but we're always trying new stuff. And I think that's what makes it fun. It is a lot of fun.
Definitely.
Yep. So what else? What else do we have to talk about?
Well, I went through and I made some mushrooms. And as you can see, we have one in this pot here, but I made about 7 of these guys. And they're going to get a spring on the top of this. And
they'll be like bobbleheads.
They're like bobbleheads, yes. So see, watch.
And that's what they'll do. So we're going to epoxy springs on the inside of them. And we didn't make this one. Diana bought that one, and we loved it so much that we're going to totally rip off their design. Well, I mean, we're going to borrow their inspiration. That's what I meant to say.
Yes, because mine doesn't look exactly like theirs.
I'm sure yours is going to be even prettier.
I made mine. I did it as a pinch pot. And I don't know if that was a mold or what, but it seems too regular all the way around. It looks like it was a poured mold.
Anyway, it's going to be fantastic.
Yes, so I pinched mine all around, and then I pulled a handle, but I never curved the handle.
We're going to come up with a better way to do that. Diana says that process is a little too time consuming.
It was.
So we may use the extruder to make those in the future.
And of course, I worked on some sandwich plates.
And they'll have some nice glazes on them. We found ourselves much shorter on pottery this week than we had intended because when we went to the osprey nest.
We told them that we would let them know how that went.
It went fantastic. Yes. So
you carried one crate and I carried the other crate.
We took 2 crates in, and we were kind of expecting Matthew and Tabitha to maybe pick a few pieces, and they liked all of it. So we left pretty much all of it there, which was a very good feeling, knowing that it's going to have a home. And just for future reference for you guys, if you're in the osprey nest and you see some of our pottery, know that whatever's there right now, because now there's 20-ish pieces, maybe something like that, close to it.
Close to it or a little bit more.
Maybe a little bit more. Yeah. There will be more pieces later, and we're going to be constantly updating and swapping pieces out.
Yeah, because Tabitha said she would like to see us fill that back wall.
So shout out to the Osprey Nest in Chincoteague. Those
really
guys were fantastic and enthusiastic about their art and getting people to see the art. We are going to be setting up in Chincoteague for the farmers and artisan markets. And at first, it's only going to be on Saturdays, but eventually over the summer, it will be open on Saturdays and on Wednesdays. And the pieces that you'll find at our table will be priced the same as the pieces you'll see at the Osprey Nest. So you won't get a deal by getting it at our table or at the Osprey Nest. But if there's something you really like that we don't have on the table, you might find it there at the Osprey Nest. So I think it's going to be a win-win for everybody involved. I think it's going to be fantastic. And we're very excited. But now we got to make sure we have enough pieces for all this stuff we have coming up. So we're going to be very busy making more things as we always are.
Yes. And of course, we put up our new goal sheet up there.
April's new goal, 80 pieces?
No, 100. We're going for the 100. So even though we were 20 shy this past month, we're going to make it this month.
But that's 100 between us. So
it's 100 between us instead of trying 100 each. Because 100 each does not allow us to have room to do other things or go set up places. But a goal of 100 between the two of us
it's totally
is doable because we did do 80 last month.
And a lot of the things that we're going to do, and I know we're not getting into next week yet, but we have pieces ready to go. We just have to glaze them. So a lot of the work that you see behind and over Diana's shoulder, a lot of that stuff will be glazed and sellable by this time next week. We will have another glaze load going in of only our stuff. And it's enough to fill the kiln for sure. It's enough to pack it for sure.
It is that. I know for our question of the week this week, it's one that we often get asked at the different events we set up at, and that is, how do we make our pottery?
A lot of potters have a specific setup or a specific methodology, and most, if not all, of their work is done following that particular methodology. We don't have that kind of a deal going on here in the studio. For us, we have many, many different techniques. And Diana and I complement each other because we have different strengths and different things that we enjoy doing. So working on the wheel or hand building, the studio itself, we can do either one of those. We also have a lot of other skills that we bring into this. Between our painting and drawing and all the other craft things that we do, there are lots of things that we pull into the pottery studio. There's no real, not really one way that we make pottery.
We can say, yes, we do pinch pots because certain pieces are done as a pinch pot.
The mushroom tops are done with a pinch pot. The bowl was done on the wheel.
Right.
This guy was hand built. Mike here was hand built.
This cup was hand built.
This cup was bought in the store.
And then, some pieces get a regular glaze kiln, whereas other pieces get the Raku kiln now. So right on to the fact that you carve on some pieces, and
some pieces we go smooth.
Some pieces go smooth. Some pieces we do sgraffito or mishima. And when you went to the ceramic shop, you picked up a new tool for me.
That's right. I picked a new roller, but it mostly for you.
No, not the roller,
But I did pick up a new roller.
It's the bulb.
The
slip trailing.
Slip trailing bulb. The idea is you'll be able to draw with.
Never tried slip trailing before, so
time to try it.
Time to try it.
Always trying new stuff, you guys.
So very, very interested to try that. But you picked up a little set, and it has different tips. So I assume the different tips do different thicknesses.
Correct.
And with the slip trailing, it actually stands up off of the clay body.
Right. In fact, we kind of got the idea for this. It's
not carved into it. Like with my mishima technique, I'm carving in.
Yep. Okay. So when Tabitha showed us that crock that they have over at the Osprey Nest, this is the kind of tool we would use to replicate the effect of the raised letters and drawing on that crock. We are also going to be doing some more firing techniques. Our new techniques aren't limited to just here in the studio. in addition to the new Raku kiln, we're going to do at least one pit firing setup, and we're going to be trying sometime in the next couple of weeks, trying our hand at some sagger firing, and that's a different technique.
Yeah, I'm really eager to try that.
That's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun learning this stuff, you guys. It really, really is.
Because I've been doing a lot of research on that one, so that'll be interesting. Mm-hmm. Our lesson for art class this week, we only have 2 left.
Yeah, I'm a little bummed about our art classes winding down. Our homeschool art classes are a roaring success. I love seeing the kids and teaching the lessons. And it's just like teaching in school, except we get to teach what we think is important.
Yes.
And we love
and there's no test.
And there's no test, although I do joke with them sometimes and give them a test at the end, but the test is only just asking them a question or getting to see their work.
Yeah.
So we have 2 more weeks of our homeschool art lessons. And then are we done? Are we going to do any more homeschool art lessons?
Well, we've had lots of requests. And so and you and I've been talking about it. So I'm going to put it up. I'm going to put it out there and see if that's something that they're interested in, because they wanted another round. So you had mentioned about doing it geared to clay and pottery this time.
Most of our homeschool art classes are visual arts that are 2-dimensional. There's painting and drawing, and that's the kind of thing that we do in most of our homeschool art classes. But for the next round of homeschool art classes that we're going to do, I think we're going to concentrate on clay. And we'll talk about what is clay, the kind of the science and the life history of clay, where it comes from and what it is. And also the technological and historical significance of it, because working with ceramics really was a pivotal technology for early humans. It enabled us to do things that we couldn't have done. It certainly helped us to survive. So we'll talk about some of the early ceramics scientists, and then we'll work with it ourselves
each time. And I think that'll be fun because, we can do pinch pot type projects. In fact, Mr. John, the art teacher from the elementary school we taught in at one point in time, he sent some really cool ideas that he thought would be fun for the kids.
Thank you very much, Mr. John.
Yes, we think the world of you.
Yep.
And we appreciate it. And so I was like, oh, that's really cool. And it's from a pinch pot.
Fun stuff to do.
So many things. And then I know Lizzie has talked often about wanting to be able to try this graffito technique. And I thought that would be kind of cool to do on a tile. Getting
the kids to use graffito on their little tiles. And I think it would be a fantastic introduction to it. So the answer to the question is yes, we do plan on having another round of homeschool art classes. These will be concentrating on clay.
Yes, and we'll put that out this week, as well as the fact that we're going to have a couple of other classes coming out too.
Right, individual one and done kind of classes.
For April, we're going to have the bowl class that Michael wanted.
Right.
And then we're also going to have a plant pot class.
And we do need to have an ocarina class. We haven't talked about it yet, but I will be teaching an ocarina class for Clayapalooza this summer, and I'd like to do a kind of a test run of
here
it
at the
first.
studio. Okay. Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
Yep.
I don't know if you want to add that into our April calendar or if you want to shoot for May on that.
We'll have to see. April is exceedingly busy for us.
Yes, but I think May is going to start getting even more so.
Even busier.
So anyway, but we've been working a lot on our schedule this morning already. So there's a lot, I think we can make it work.
Yep.
I think we can. Also this week, I'm going to be working on designing a set for us of the By the Sea.
Right. So Diana's working on these series of pottery that are
specific to our area.
That are specific to the Delmarva Peninsula, where we call home.
If you're not from here, you might not know this, but yes, we are by the sea. We're by the Atlantic Ocean. We're also by the bay.
We live on a peninsula that is between the Chesapeake Bay and the Atlantic Ocean, and there's a huge array of diversity in wildlife, and there's all kinds of plants and animals that we're going to draw in to our future and upcoming pottery projects.
Yes.
And it's going to be based on our area.
Yes. And then of course we're also just a couple of miles away from the Pocomoke River. So guess what? There's also going to be one at the river's edge.
So the At the River's Edge series will have things like frogs and lily pads and maybe a canoe.
Turtles.
The
Diamondback terrapin.
Exactly.
That's actually our state turtle, and the Pocomoke River has many diamondback terrapins.
And our By the Bay series will have crab boats and crabs and buoys and things that you would see in the bay. And then by the sea, otters. Exactly.
I'm sorry.
No, you're right, otters. And then by the sea,
I get off on a tangent.
We don't have sea otters.
No.
The otters would be
we have river otters.
River otters. Yes. And maybe occasionally you see them at the edges of the bay.
Yeah.
But
and then the different fish and things that are in our area. There's just so much that can be done.
The By the Sea series would have seahorses and seashells, things like that.
Yeah. Yep. And then at some point in time there will be in the forest and in the meadow.
Right.
And that way I'll get to do the different owls that we have in our area. And I'm looking. I love doing that type of thing, because then we can also talk to people about those creatures and stuff. And that's one of the things I loved doing when I was a docent at the Salsbury Zoo, was talking to folks about animals and how important it is to take care of the environment and help to support these animals in their native
And
habitat.
really, we wanted to draw inspiration from the area we live. So why not share this our love for the area with everybody else?
It's a wonderful place to be. So anyway, so I'm looking forward to doing that. And of course, we have lots of things that we're going to hope to make this week. And you had mentioned also another glaze load already. We talked about that. I think you said you were going to be making lots of foodware this week. Right.
So I got to make a lot of plates and cups and bowls. We seem to be lacking a little bit in that area. So I'm going to be looking at pottery that is like servingware, stuff that you would eat from, cups that you would drink from, bowls that you would eat from, that kind of stuff. I'd like to get all of that this week. I don't think I need any more tiny little cups. Remember, if you recall, the tiny little cups have a specific purpose. They're going to be hanging by a lanyard around a person's neck. They're tasting cups. I don't think I'm going to make any more of those, but I will be making every size of cup up from that. I don't know if I'm going to be making my huge tankards this week, steins rather, not tankards, steins. They are going to require a different kind of setup. I'm either going to have to hand build them, which will make them a little bit wonky and wobbly, or I'm going to really have to figure out a better way to get my clay thinner so that they're not quite so heavy. The big stein that I have over in the corner is going to look beautiful when it's done, but it's heavier than I wanted it to be.
Right. But at the same time, I can't imagine somebody truly drinking out of it.
Well, but we want them to be able to.
True. That's true. So, and then on Friday this week, it's First Friday time again at Snow Hill.
At Snow Hill, we're going to be setting up for First Friday. We'll be setting up with almost twice as many pieces, probably about 180% more pieces than we had last time. Maybe not quite twice as many.
Right.
But we'll be setting up with more pieces, 2 tables. And although it might be cold, if it isn't too cold, I'm going to be taking my battery-powered pottery wheel and giving some demonstrations with that. Now, that's only if the weather is going to be okay, because I don't want to get frostbite, right? That's my hands will get too cold. But that's something we're thinking about. If the weather's going to be okay, then we'll set up with a little, with one of our little wheels connected to a battery pack, and I'll give some demos right there, which I can't wait. If there's one thing I really like, it's putting on a show.
Yes, and it's great to be able to talk to people and actually for them to see how it's done.
And I think people are going to be really amazed at the wide variety of curse words that we use when things go wrong on the wheel. I think they're going to be amazed at that.
That's not true. That's not true.
You're right. There's like 6 curse words I use all the time, and I don't really use a whole lot of other ones.
I'm so glad that people who have actually come here know that's not true.
I don't curse when there are other people in the studio. That would be rude of me. But when it's just me and the clay, hey, sometimes you gotta let the clay know who's boss. Unfortunately, sometimes the clay already knows that the clay is the boss.
That's right.
So anyway, we do have fun, and if you get a chance, come see us at First Friday in Snow Hill on Friday. We aren't going to be doing a whole lot of First Friday, Second Saturday kind of things other than Snow Hill, because we're going to be regularly setting up once and then later twice a week at Shinketik, and that's going to be a time fill for us.
Right. And then of course our pottery is in the Osprey Nest Art Gallery now. It's also in the Golden Clover Cafe in Snow Hill, and in Caprico Books in Ocean Pines.
That's right. So you can find our work in three different places, and all of those places are fantastic, and you do need to check them out. Once again, those places are the Osprey Nest in Shinketik. That's our latest one. Caprico's Books in Ocean Pines, and then the Golden Clover
Cafe in Snow Hill.
So check those places out. The owners are fantastic, and
they are.
It's a great thing if you want to see some of our other work. And who knows, we may expand out and have stuff in other places, but that's going to require us making more stuff.
A year ago, I just wouldn't have even.
Yeah, it wasn't even on our radar at all.
So I'm happy, and that's a good thing.
Yep.
And of course, today when we get off, we're going to go in and put some more food in the oven because Carolyn and James are coming over.
We've got a 74-pound ham in the crock pot.
Yes, you really had to do a number on that to get it to fit.
It's not really 74 pounds, but it's packing the crock pot.
I didn't think he'd get it in, but he was determined.
I had to carve a little bit on the ham and then rearrange things a little bit. Our crock pot is insufficiently sized for a family of 6. Let me just put it like that.
Anyway,
I got to stop with the whole "you got to buy the biggest ham you can find" thing. That's probably not a good thing.
We'll be eating on that for a while.
I hope so. But
yes,
but James does love his ham.
He does.
Anyway, Carolyn and James will be coming for dinner.
Yes, and she doesn't know it, but we have a birthday cake for her.
Don't tell her.
And the reason we didn't tell her ahead of time because she had her birthday this week. Last year when we had her birthday meal, bless her heart, on her way to our house, they had a car accident. And so we stayed at the hospital until after her birthday was done. And she's like, when we said about, would you like to have a birthday meal this year? And she's like, no, please. I just, all I can think of is the car accident.
So we're going to have a
surprise.
We're going to have a cake, but I don't think we're going to have candles.
Yes, no, it's very subdued.
But it's going to be a fun time.
Yeah.
And I can't wait. That's what we're doing for the rest of today.
Yes.
So what else do we have coming up?
That's it.
All right, you guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up so we can get on with our Easter celebrations. I hope the Easter Bunny was good to you guys and left you lots of cool goodies. I can't wait to see what the Easter Bunny left Christopher and Carolyn because, there's a dad tax.
Yes,
right?
and James,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yes, the Easter Bunny leaves James some things.
Yep.
James is Carolyn's boyfriend.
Friend who's a boy.
He's a friend who's a boy, and he's basically our son, too.
We love him. James is fantastic. All right, are we all finished?
Yep.
Okay, I think we're going to wrap it up here. Happy Easter, everyone. Happy Transgender Day of Visibility. And it's actually National Tater Day?
It is National Tater Day.
Happy National Tater Day.
I am baking some potatoes in the oven, and we're going to have broccoli and cheddar cheese and sour cream to go on them.
It's a celebration.
Yes.
All right. Toodaloo, TTFN, ta-ta for now. Take care, everybody. Have a fantastic day no matter where you're at. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.